it's a big challenge, but that's what it's all about.
You said that this year your team has done a great job of maintaining focus. What specifically have you been focusing on leading into this final?
Just getting our heads right. I mean, they really have been in a good headspace most of the year. Plus the conditioning has really helped this year as well. So I think a combination of those two things have made them fairly sustainable throughout the course of the season.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cal comes into this one, underdog, some folks think, but certainly they have weapons.
They do, and it starts with that man, number 10, Russell Webb, an experienced player at fly half. He may be a little bit undersized, but he's a smart player. He's got to be decisive with the ball in hand and clinical off of his boot. Try to back up these Cougars and play the territory game, get them to turn around and run. And Thomas Robles, wearing the number 8 jersey, he really has come along this year, a breakthrough player for Jack Clark. He's got strong shoulders. He'll make his tackles, but he has his hands full with his opposite number 8, and that is Joe Pikula out of BYU. He's got to have a huge game today.
Both teams stepping onto the pitch at South Field in Provo, Utah. It's the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup Championship. Coming up next, the challenge laid down by the champs, the Haka, and then a kick for a national title.
Hey, Rick. I've been meaning to get back to you. It's important. Next week. Yep.
Sounds good. We'll see you.
Tim, no time now. At halftime.
Yo, you play?
Where'd you find this guy? My life insurance guy. So what are you doing next weekend?
Make your home happen during Rent-A-Center's home makeover sale. Just make small, affordable payments with no long-term debt. Right now, get your choice of an Ashley sofa and love seat set or queen bed with mattress for just $19.99 a week. Only at Rent-A-Center. Yeah, you can do that.
This is how Precision listens. Bose microphones that hear engine noise, then counter it with the sound-canceling frequency, which helps make the cabin so quiet, you don't miss a thing.
Night, Dad.
Good night, kiddo. It's called active noise cancellation, and it's available in the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Now get 15% below MSRP on select GMC Sierra 1500 models in stock. That's nearly $9,000 on this GMC Sierra Denali.
Hot dog. Seen it, covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
You feel it. Pressure, doubt, sacrifice,
Years,
blood, sweat, and tears. Pushing myself.
One moment.
One chance.
100%.
Representing.
Dominating.
Devastating.
Unbelievable. Stop. It's possible.
Joy.
Lightning.
Goosebumps. Pride. History. Amazing.
I love it. Boom.
Mountains to explore. Adventure to be had. A town to fall in love with. Yes, all that in Park City, Utah. Start your adventure at visitparkcity.com/summer.
There's a better way to beat downtime. Give your employees the power to do their best work. Reduce downtime by 50% by updating to the latest high-performance Dell systems with Intel Core M5 processors. And we're rewarding your hard work with exclusive offers all month.
Southfield in Provo, Utah. Cal and BYU in the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup Rugby Championship Final. Bill Seward, Brian Hightower with you. The teams amassing out on the pitch. And a pretty good crowd on hand here today, Brian. And this BYU squad, we will see the haka, the tradition, of course, the Maori origins, and the challenge thrown down.
A lot of Polynesian influence on this team.
The haka is presented by the BYU Cougars in this final match of the Varsity Cup. And the challenge laid down, Brian, and the challenge certainly that we're going to bring our best, and hopefully you bring yours too, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I think for Cal, just a sign of respect to endure the haka. Maybe a mild annoyance to actually have to endure that for them.
Taking a look at the rules for this Varsity Cup final, it is, of course, 15 players per team, 40-minute halves, no forward passing, no blocking, a try. When you ground the ball in the opposition's goal, a try is 5 points, the conversion 2, the drop kick or penalty goal along for 3 points. Janeth White is pitch side right now with Cal coach Jack Clark.
All right, Coach Clark, you've talked openly about the challenges this BYU team presents. So how have you prepared your team mentally to rise to this occasion?
Well, we're so privileged to be here. It's a steep challenge, but we want to compete, and we want to do our best and, give this thing a real lash.
You said during the playoffs that your team had yet to play their best rugby. How confident are you that today will be the day it brings it out?
It better be, or we're in trouble. But, it's a good stage, so we're hoping for the best.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
33 seasons at the helm of the California Golden Bears rugby program, more than 600 victories, and his team getting set to take the kick from Calvin Whiting and BYU. There is Ara Elkington, the captain for BYU. Look at the temperatures, 56 degrees, and the wind, 5 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. This right at over 4,500 feet. The referee, Leah Berard. And Calvin Whiting. Not his best kick of all time, but it did go 10 and immediately picked up by Matt Jensen.
Yeah, first lucky bounce there for BYU, but they've got the ball on the front foot.
And the hooker, Forster, moving it forward first. Maki takes it out of there and finds Zach Weber. They go right side with Big Joe Pakula, wearing the 8 at about 275 pounds. Back it comes to Whiting. Whippy, this time stepping through. Zach Weber. The dummy to the outside, and Maki going to keep it inside the 22, the first possession. Whippy with the 13, it's a lucky number for him, but the pass not so gifted.
Well, that's one of the things that can hurt this BYU team. They can play a little bit too expansive, and that time Josh Whippy puts one on the ground. They're lucky to get it back.
Wearing the 5 at 250 pounds, or 6, is Jackson Kaka. He steps up. Whippy thought he was trying to wrap around. The ball lost forward, and the advantage to Cal. So Cal's first chance with it, deep in its own territory. Russell Webb aligning himself deep in the pocket, may put this one to foot, and with his left foot, does send it over the touchline and toward the stands. So a bit of relieving pressure.
Take a look at here once again. There's Whippy with the ball in hand. He tries to go inside to Ricky Tuialanini, but he can't find him, and the ball squirts forward. Cal able to gobble up a little bit of territory, get themselves out of jail. First line out throw for Alex Forster.
BYU set the lift, the throw off the mark, and it looked like Robles came in there to grab that one for Cal.
High tackle, Leah Berard gives the first penalty to Cal, and this is where Russell Webb has to be clinical with his boot. Try to gobble up as much of this possession as he can.
Once again, end over end, the left foot, and we'll see as it's right about just at the 22.
If Cal can capitalize on BYU mistakes, and BYU continues to make them, as we've seen so far, they'll stay in this game.
Once again, the line out, this time for Cal, as Bush tosses it in. And then Webb. Saliver off the hands of Barrientos.
Well, sometimes that first touch, you got to get it out of the way, and Barrientos puts one on the ground instead. Looked like a pretty good set play from the backs from Cal.
And Josh Whippy is still on the turf and slow to get up.
And that would be a huge loss for BYU straight away if there's actually damage to Whippy.
You can hear referee Leah Berard, we're playing. Let's move along.
Discuss, guys. Get in straight, please.
And so the first
Scrummy, in straight, please.
scrum going to come about here as back to his pins is Whippy and taking his spot. Luke Maki from Krugersdorp, South Africa, going to roll it in wearing the 9 for BYU. Being watched by Nick Boyer. Joe Pakula runs into a couple of bodies there, picks up some meters.
And Cal is off their feet. Number 7 there, that's Nick Mirisham. And he meets the challenge from Joe Pakula. Watch Pakula, first touch of the ball. Here comes Robles, there's Mirisham. And Mirisham going backwards. He's got to get low. If he's gonna have success with Joe Pakula off that pickup from the scrum, he's gotta go lower. Really gotta take the base. Pakula is a big, strong, stable player.
Forster set to toss it in.
Great steal from James Condrat.
Condrat with the big mitt, but it comes back to Forster, who gets in there. Not the biggest guy on the pitch, but he motors around. Tuialanini just across halfway. Stepping forward is Jackson Kaka. And off the feet, the penalty awarded to Cal.
Yeah, if you're gonna go in and support that ruck, you have to be able to carry your own weight on your feet. You can't use your hands to brace your weight. You have to be stable. That time, Otta Elkington, the captain for BYU, called for being off of his feet at the breakdown, and a chance here for Cal.
And so Michael Bush, the graduate student from Roseville, California, tossing it in up high and taken by Cal, and away they go. Webb hammered outside.
Big tackle by Calvin Whiting. He comes up and really sticks Thomas Robles.
Quite the collision, and then near the touchline, able to keep it in is Cal.
Robles back into the action straight away. His work rate has been spectacular so far.
Webb dumps it off, and Lucas Dunn, one of the smaller members of the Bears squad, but he has got some wheels. He can find some open space, and Webb corralled there by BYU.
You know, and this strategy is not going to work for Cal. If they continue to try to run into a wall of defenders after phase, they're going to find trouble. Boyer back to Robles, but again, into that blue wall.
Waiting outside is Saliver. They get it to Tabner. And Tabner deep. To touch it goes.
And that time, Patrick Barrientos with the ball, and they have a 2-on-1 here. Watch this once again. Barrientos has to draw the defense. A good rumble by Thomas Robles. When the ball comes out to the corner, it is a 2-on-1. Barrientos right here, he has to keep the ball, pin the defender, and then set the wing free, but he unloads the ball too quickly, and that's why Josh Anderson is able to gobble that into touch. Out of Elkington, blood coming from the eye. He's got
the captain being tended to on the BYU sideline. And Elkington with a cut over his left eye. Meanwhile, they will set up Alex Forrester for a line out.
Well, and from experience, I can tell you that's not something your mother wants to see. And Ada Elkington's mother has flown all the way from New Zealand to watch him play. And little blood coming from the eye always makes him a little uncomfortable.
Bakula rumbles forward, and since he's not pinned down, he gives it away, and going back the other way is Scott Walsh. Cal on the motor. Got some folks to the outside. Stepping through and ever closer is Barrientos.
Well, he was held in the tackle. He's got to drop the ball. Instead, he's held. He gets back up with the ball. He's allowed to get back up if he leaves the ball on the ground. That time, he didn't release the ball, and therefore a penalty. It's a good call by the referee, Leah Berard.
Ever so closer for Barrientos, but not taking advantage in a situation like that. And then BYU able to pound it on the other side of halfway. And back comes Goena, the fullback for Cal. Off the hand of Lucas Dunn, and here comes BYU.
Well, Cal squandered a chance when they had the ball down inside the 22 of BYU. They got to come away with points.
Left off of Jackson Kaka's hand, and the knock on. And so the scrum will go to Cal.
Take a look here. Saliber feeds it out to Barrientos. Yeah, and he just didn't release the ball. And the penalty called against him. And now a scrum. I tell you what, this is a great battle. The first scrum we saw BYU really kind of hand it to that front row of Cal. Walsh, Bush, and Frame across the front. Experienced front row for Cal.
Size would favor Cal, but BYU seems to get a little better push there, and Cal controls. Saliver bounces to turf, presents it, and Boyer to Webb. Right about halfway. And checking in on the BYU side, we bring in Tanith White.
All right, guys, Captain Ada Elkington is being treated right now by the BYU medical staff. His eye was very swollen along with that cut. Right now they are putting stitches in that eye and hopefully getting him back into the game soon.
The man next to me has sort of experienced that a few times. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's you know, usually the stapler can work as well, but not around the eye. Well, and there, the winger
Kevin Schofield
coming off. And I tell you what, if the injuries start to pile up for BYU, we saw Whippy on the ground early. We see Schofield coming out of the ground off the game right now. And that is head-to-head right there. Lucas Dunn and Kevin Schofield collide. Schofield, there's a pretty rigorous concussion protocol that he'll have to pass in order to come back into the game.
Webb kicks one to touch, and so
far things have gone really the way that Cal would want them to, capitalizing on BYU mistakes. They have to come away with points or it's all for naught.
Robles went up high for that one. Webb grabs it. Saliber runs over a man. Saliber squaring up on Zach Weber. Right at the 22. Boyer pulls back, steps forward, spins around, continues his progress.
Boyer's a strong runner. He's really kind of a big scrum half at 6'3". Kind of like having an extra forward in the pack.
Coming back to the wide side. Saliber driven back by Tuialanini. And a step outside by Lucas Dunn.
Good support there from Patrick Barrientos to clean that ball up. They don't want to leave players isolated. Thomas Robles with another rumble. Again, the work rate of the number 8 for Cal has been exceptional.
Boyer plucks it. Webb fires it. Goena runs headlong into Whippy. And just about 15 meters out is Cal knocking on the door. Been here before, but still no points on the board for either squad. 11.5 minutes in to the final of the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup.
One of the Achilles heels for this Cal team is when they get close, sometimes they tighten their game up and they play it into the hands of the defense. Just then, the forwards trying to attack with the ball and turn it over. That has been one of their downfalls all season long.
You tighten up against a BYU squad that's substantially larger in many of the areas. It's a tough one to ask, and BYU trying to get out of its own territory. That ripped free, but the whistle blows.
Offside, says Leah Berard. BYU, I tell you what, the way that they're being run by this Cal team, they've got to be a little bit surprised.
So Calvin Whiting going to take the honors. Try to kick this one to touch, but it may not get out, and it doesn't. It's coming back the other way. Webb weaving his way. And then a look at Nick Saliber, the brother of number 12, Anthony Saliber. Webb pops one to the corner and come a-running.
Oh, that was almost in the hands of Taverner. I tell you what, we talked in the pregame show, Bill, about the clinical boot of Russell Webb, and that drifted a half a meter too far. Taverner's got great wheels, and he was almost on that ball. You got to respect that if you're BYU, because Russell Webb now would like that option.
Time off. It's okay.
So close. And those are the kind of moments that can really change a game.
It's already off.
Forster looking to his right because Whippy, I believe they're working on his leg.
Yes, please.
And Elkington coming back in the game, the captain wearing the number 7.
A big plus. Has the wrap on his head, but Ara Elkington.
And that's huge for this BYU team. He's really one of the spiritual leaders.
Batted back by Tuolingi, and Joe Pikula loses it right at the 22, and Walsh goes off on a little rumble. Getting closer is Cal. Saliber to Webb. They leave it outside. Taftner's across.
Lucas Dunn for Cal on the corner. It's hard to tell these wings apart. Jack Clark called them Smurfs, a little bit undersized. They all kind of look the same. But I tell you what, that came off the mistake from Joe Pikula. The ball goes quickly to the outside, and great hands in the back line. The contest for this Cal Bear team today is how good can their back line play against this BYU Cougar team. On the Cougars, 6 different All-Americans right now wearing blue. This Cal team has to step up in the back line and really creating opportunities out of mistakes so far. And kind of what's really been the downfall in this first 15 minutes for BYU, really uncharacteristic mistakes. And Cal, give them credit, they've played the entire first half in the BYU 30 meters.
So Lucas Dunn with the 5 on the try, and trying to add 2 more is Nick Boyer. From an extreme angle. Pushes that one right, and it stays at 5-0. And once again, Lucas Dunn. Yeah, the turnovers are what make the difference on this one, Brian.
Yeah, and the ball that goes to Pikula, and right there, the big man coughs it up. And Walsh finds the ball, and it quickly moves away. Watch Saliber to Russell Webb. He finds Barrientos, got a man in the corner, and Dunn does his job.
Back to live action, and the kick by Boyer, and that goes nowhere in particular. You pull the pin on the grenade, you got to get it downfield.
Yeah, and kind of an accidental offsides there by BYU, and so Cal really gets lucky there because Boyer kicks up a horrible up and under.
So Webb with the tap, and here we go. Saliber
I tell you what, and just that tap, instead of going for territory, playing run-in rugby, that's a sign of the confidence right now in these Cal Bears.
Knocked out of the hands of Mirisham. And back comes BYU. Elkington. Forster had a little stumble there coming out of that one.
And Forster puts it on the ground, and another mistake by BYU, and Cal with the scrum.
Early on, 16-23 in, but you think Cal is appreciating being that underdog coming into this one?
You know, sometimes if you're such a heavy favorite and you've really taken, you know, the teams that have been in front of you all year and you've kind of grinded them down, you start to believe that you're you know, better than you are. And I don't know if that's the case with BYU, but if you're overconfident, it can hurt you. And you got to give credit to this Cal team. But I tell you what, it's only a 5-point lead, and BYU could erase that in a second.
A little early push in the scrum, and so Salibur took it back to the halfway, and then
and there's the boot. Yep.
Forward.
Russell Webb really putting these BYU Cougars on the back foot, playing some territory, and there he is to grab his own kick.
And step forward again and go to foot toward the other corner. Whippy is there for that one. And Josh Whippy gives it to Calvin Whiting. Ryan Anderson trying to step in there with it.
Hold. Use it.
Maki. Able to spin it to Ara Elkington. Elkington runs into Robles. It pops out. And comes to Matt Jensen.
BYU so dangerous in the offload game. They're able to get their arms free in the contact area and find runners. Mendenhall, he's a mule, and he's...
Whiting. Left for Tuialanimi.
And there's that offload we talked about. And another knock-on by BYU. It's coming back.
Down to the corner, and pressing it is Zach Weber, but the referee's got to bring it back.
Yeah, it all looks good and feels good, except Leah Berard had her arm out for the knock-on way back at the 10-meter line. That one's coming back for a Cal scrum. This is a very partisan crowd, of course, because we're at Southfield in BYU, but I tell you what, Cal has kind of taken the crowd out of this game a little bit. They're looking for something to get excited about. Zach Weber's try would have done it, except the knock on first. Now a little discussion among the assistant refs and the on-field ref, Leah Berard.
There we go.
All for naught, the dive by Weber.
Yes, and him. Just make sure you come in straight, please. Yeah.
And Berard setting the table for this scrum. There is a look at Zach. He's got his lungs back and set to go. Is Cal going to roll it in? Walsh, Bush, and Vrain for Cal against Tuialanini, Forster, and Mendenhall.
But I tell you what, you know, Barry Entis he's having a hard day at the office. 2 balls knocked on, and that ball went forward, and I don't, you know, he's got some tape on that left hand. You take a look at these front rows for Cal, you know, all seniors, and they've been together. There's a lot of experience here. This is really one of the deciding factors of the game, kind of the dark arts part of this rugby game. And the BYU front row, Tuialanini, Alex Forster from South Africa, and Zane Mendenhall, who is absolutely a load. And the experience has to go to Cal, but I tell you what, it's hard to push these BYU front rowers around, and they are a composed side. And so far, what I've seen is that they've gotten the shove on Cal.
Yeah, you would say that Cal has the advantage in terms of being more a veteran front three and also larger, but walking out there, BYU, they are not giving up anything.
Well, and the thing is, you don't scrum with just 3 guys up front. It's the whole pack, and you got to give the advantage to BYU.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Again, BYU able to take control of that one. The pass a bit, Aaron, bounces up and into the hands of Ryan Blazer.
A solid platform from the scrum, but again, ball bouncing on the ground. And sometimes, I don't know if it's the pairing, it's kind of a new one. Normally Jared Whippy wearing the number 10 jersey for BYU, but it's Calvin Whiting.
Jackson Kaka on a bit of a rumble there. Maki comes back and finds Pakula. On the bounce, Blazer. Taken down by Merisham. Forster. Where are the two? And Forster's on a run. The kid's all over the pitch. And stepping across is Zach Weber.
Well, it's one missed tackle that springs that try, and that's how quickly BYU can hurt you. It was a tackle that should have been made. Instead, Forster, he's got legs like tree trunks, and he just bounces through this tackle. Watch Forster. That's against his opposite number there, Michael Bush. And he puts away Zach Weber, and that's a great feed from the hooker from BYU. It was only a matter of time before they answered back.
So Calvin Whiting will tee it up with a chance to take the advantage there. A look at Alex Forster, who, when you walk up to him, he's not the most impressive athlete in the world, but you know what? He makes up for it. I mean, every second that ticks, he is racing around this green.
Well, he's very fit, and he's good technically. He's got a wide base, deceptively strong. You know, if it's just a tale of two body halves, really, because he does have quite a load.
And a chance to take the lead.
That's a great strike by Whiting.
And so a 7-5 BYU advantage. The try by Weber, the conversion by Whiting. At the 22-minute mark, and David Smith, the coach of BYU, cheering along with the fans at South Field as his team takes the lead on the restart. Contested in the air and picked up. Hey, who would it be? That would probably be Forster again. Jensen rocked back. Good hit by Merisham and teammates. Tui Alanini cutting back, and a big horse on the loose. It's Derby Day at South Field. And Ricky.
And a prop just shouldn't be able to run like that. It's almost unfair.
Here's another prop that can motor on a smaller chassis is Mendenhall.
Knock on, just a slight one. I think Berard saw it too. Looked like the hand just dragged it forward. Cal's going to get a chance for a scrum here. I tell you what, though, BYU on a roll right now. And if you got a prop like Ricky Tuialanini, who can get in the open field and scamper like that, it is such an asset.
We've also seen him play outside center this season, and so to be able to do that, to play those two positions in the same large body, that's impressive.
Oh, but BYU just wrecking the Cal scrum. Kind of an emergency ball there, and Boyer does a good job to scoop it up and try to set up a platform.
Yeah, the walls gave in on that one, and Cal may look to have Webb. Nope, they're going to go off the fringe, and Michael Bush with a rare try off the left side.
Thank you.
And then Walsh. Gonna have the forwards plunge it for a while, and then Webb scuds one downfield off of Blazer, but
Blazer does a great job of collecting that ball. Almost went forward, and a high tackle there is going to give a penalty to BYU, and now they have a chance to really kind of get their composure back, boot the ball downfield perhaps, and gain some territory.
And a little more air in South Field in Provo.
Crowd
3 minutes ago, it was very quiet here.
It's such a mistake-prone first 20 minutes for BYU, and I really think unexpected.
Keep it up.
As BYU continues to gain confidence, it represents more danger.
Kaka comes up with it. R.A. Elkington Elkington and Robles collide.
Great job on the ground there. Looked like Cal player had a chance, but roughed away.
Maki down the line, flat, big step, and Joe gonna leave it for the captain.
It is a lethal team. They have 15 players who are threats at any moment with the ball in hand, and Big Joe Pakula fends off a runner with one hand, ball in the other hand, dishes to Elkington. If Cal is going to remain in this game, they've got to keep BYU in front of them. We saw the missed tackle earlier, which sprung the first try for Weber. This one, another defensive breakdown. And, you know, Cal, if you watch, Bill, the battle at the breakdown, Cal is sending more bodies into the breakdown than BYU. And once that starts to happen, there's space on the fringes, and Pakula eats it up.
And a chance to make it 14-5. Calvin Whiting collecting his breath, eye in the post. And hammers it through. A 14-5 BYU lead. Another look as Joe Pakula at about 275 to Ara Elkington under the watchful eye of Coach David Smith of BYU.
I like that.
He likes it.
I'll bet he does. On the restart. 27 minutes in and a 14-5 BYU lead. Kaka leaves it for Jensen. Maki comes back in. Pretty good reorganization by Cal. A cutout pass might have gone forward. Then that'll be the whistle as Anderson has it along the touchline. But you could hear the whistle. A forward pass, and so the scrum will go to Cal.
Yeah, you know, and if you're BYU, I don't know if you want to get so loose straight away. I know you got some confidence. You just scored 2 quick ones. But we saw from the first 10 or 15 minutes of this game, if BYU gets loose, puts the ball on the ground, and gives Cal an opportunity near their 22, they can put some points on the board as well.
Crouch.
Wearing the 9 for Cal, Nick Boyer.
Set.
Second team All-American last season.
Still in.
Looking for some big defense was Jack Clark with Nick Boyer today, but Boyer springing some O there as he cuts the left side.
Again, he's kind of playing like another flanker, Boyer is. Saliber with a few yards going forward as well.
Almost held up, but able to get it to ground.
Yeah, look at the number of bodies, and you know, you got to secure the ball, but you're using a whole lot of resources to make sure you win that ball back, and it's at a premium. You got to keep it.
Big step by Scott Walsh. And then loading up some of the big dogs on the left side is Cal. Trapped back there at the 22 is Russell Webb.
And Webb's got a jinky little sidestep, but he hasn't found any daylight yet today.
Outside it comes, Saliber taking a step back in, and Whiting doesn't make the tackle, and that means Saliber can keep going, and he does. Elkington finally the takedown.
Well, if Cal can go through a few phases and continue to eat up yards, they'll be happy.
Oh, back inside it goes, and Tavner's going to score this time.
Great backdoor pass, and Tavner, great angle. He sees the inside space, and he's hoping that Nick Boyer sees him cutting inside on that switch line. He does. He picks him up, and just like that, Cal scores to stay within reach of BYU.
I knew Tavner was going to score. I just called it a little earlier in the match.
Nostradamus to my left.
Going to attempt the conversion is Boyer. So the guys that you referred to, or actually Coach Jack Clark referred to as the Smurfs, Tavner and Dunn with the tries right now, and a chance for Cal to pull within 2 on this conversion attempt by Nick Boyer.
A very small but robust reaction from the Cal fans in attendance, really taking up just one section of the grandstands across from us. And this is a great play by Nick Boyer and a awareness by Tavener to cut inside.
Taking the line to freedom.
You know, in a two-point game, and if you're Jack Clark, you got to be happy about this result so far.
Tapped in the air, the take by BYU. Forster, Elkington, pop pass intercepted by Cal. Saliver.
It looked like he had numbers on the outside, could have used it, but instead ducks back.
He circled back, and Whiting was there. This time off the hands of Goena, and the turnover to BYU.
Miscommunication. Looked like Webb wanted to skip out.
The give to Jensen, and it's 6'8", stepping lively through the patch.
And a knock on, a slight one, it looked like.
What?
You know, and some of those, just the small little mistakes in focus, critical times.
Just inside the 22.
And, you know, both teams so far giving away a few balls. And if you're Coach David Smith, you're probably thinking about the number of opportunities you've had inside the Cal half, and you've given them away.
Crouch.
Boyer's going to roll it in.
Set.
BYU, the ascendancy in the scrum in the last set piece. They really have done a number on Cal.
Coming up. Up and
pushing
around,
up in the scrum.
Your loose head.
And so the penalty awarded to Cal.
Yeah, and you know, just a quick overview. You got to push straight, and that time the front row for BYU accused of really pushing up, not straight into the Cal front row, and that was the call.
The kick to touch and a Cal line out on the near side, and Michael Bush.
Okay, keep an eye on it, please.
In the Varsity Cup Finals in 2013, 15, and right now. And finds Robles up high.
Cal
to Boyer.
Really been clinical in the line out today as well.
Across halfway is Cal. Walsh.
Walsh, I tell you what, we talked about Thomas Robles and his work rate. Scott Walsh has been all over the place today. And that time, he's so far in front of his support that he gets isolated. BYU does a great job to come over the ball and win that.
He races forward and he becomes a man on an island, and no help, and the kick to touch on the far side. The line out for BYU.
Of all the attacking prowess that BYU has, we talked to the coaches about their captain, Otta Elkington, and they said, you know what, you got to watch him around the field. He's just such a threat, always in the right place. A lot of guys who could disrupt the ball, but none better than Elkington.
Short line out comes back to Forster, and Alex is on a rumble. He's got Tuialanini. Ricky tries to get to Jensen, and it's grabbed by Cal.
Connor Sweet intercepts the ball, and it looked like it was another 5-pointer for BYU.
Webb from in goal hammers it into the stands.
And that looked like a sure try before Sweet intercepts.
Yeah.
Great look inside by Tuialanini, and he's looking for support in the form of Matt Jensen, but there was Connor Sweet instead, and it buys a little bit of relief for the Bears. BYU so dangerous, and we've seen how hard Cal has had to work to get into the BYU half and stay inside their 22, and it's almost automatic. When BYU wants to do it, it seems like it's so much easier.
That cut over R. Elkington's eye seems to be pressing out a bit, and he's going to be tended to by the BYU staff. And to Tanith White we go, toward the stands.
You guys just do a quick
All right, I'm here with Robert and Mary Saliver, Anthony and Nick's parents, who are on the field for Cal here today. And Rob, you yourself were a rugby player for Cal. How great is it to see your sons now following in your footsteps?
I mean, could there be anything better for a father? 2 sons starting in a national championship game. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Now, you actually played rugby under Coach Clark, so you have a unique insight. What do you think he's telling his team right now?
get out there and put it all on the line. I mean, this is all about pride. It's all about honor. It's about the Cal way, and it's just exciting stuff to watch.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Rob, part of that 1985 national championship squad for the Bears. And watching his sons out on the pitch as Jackson Kaka up high for the take. Jensen has it now. Whiting spins to Lai. Anderson stretches his legs out, leaves it back for Tua, and pretty good job defensively by Cal in the corner.
We've talked about Whippy, but one of the biggest threats on this field wearing the number 15, we just got a glimmer of him. Tua Lai, he can light it up, and he's been part of the high performance development system for the U.S. Eagle team. He's really a great sevens player. Definitely got a future in rugby if he stays with the game. Kind of a game breaker ability. Good awareness, good vision. But again, another knock on a mistake inside the Cal 22.
Leah Berard going to re-rack the scrum here.
And this is an important scrum. And the last one we saw a penalty against BYU, but when they drive, they have really been able to take it to these Cal forwards.
Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And Cal
Hold there, Blue.
backed up a bit. Webb in goal. Webb gets it, kicks it. Comes toward Anderson. The wind playing with it, and the wind just pushes it over the touchline.
Looked like it was going to stay in. It was going to be a counterattack. Anderson he had Blazer and La'ai outside. You never know what's going to happen with that much open field, but the wind just pushes it out.
You saw the Salivers, and you saw Jack Clark, who coached Dad Rob, and the two sons here today. And Mrs. Saliver, Mary, was there, and certainly our congratulations to her and an early Mother's Day wish on our behalf. And to all out there.
First couple of lineouts for BYU didn't go so well, but they really settled in. Vorster's found his target there in Jackson Kaka, and it's a good set piece.
Mendenhall, Weebles wobble, they won't fall down. You got to bring them down, and Zane goes to turf.
Use it.
Off the fringe goes Kaka. Just going to pound it a bit as BYU, the pick and go. And then to Calvin Whiting. And Whiting right across the 22.
Another great tackle by Robles on Whiting. And another knock on by BYU.
No advantage.
Was going to let it play on for a while was referee Leah Berard, but no advantage. The knock on, and the scrum will go to Cal with 37.5 minutes in.
BYU has knocked the ball on 8 times in the first half.
Getting set again as the breeze continues to swirl at Southfield. A little rain off and on the last couple of days. It has been extremely nice here, mid-50s or so on the temperature, and a 14-12 advantage for BYU. With just over 2 minutes to go, and Boyer to his knees, leaves it outside for the most recent try scorer, Tavener, but to touch it goes.
Trying to find Tavener on the corner. Great tackle by Whiting. I tell you what, Boyer, you know, we talked about the punch that the BYU backline has, but Boyer is also one of the guys that the U.S. Eagle high performance development have their eyes on.
Vorster up high and grabbed by Cal. Well done into the midst of Connor Sweet. Barrientos.
Walsh, Robles right on his hip. Quick recycled ball. You know, and Webb is trying to find Tavener, and he's so dangerous. Sometimes you get your ideas stuck. You know, you're you're fixed on getting the ball to the corner to this quick winger. But the last couple times we've seen that, it's been a mistake.
Under a minute to go. Your BYU, if you can score one here, right on the doorstep of halftime, wouldn't it be nice? Says David Smith. Got to control the ball first, and they do with Pikula.
Roll, White!
And that's the situation. You want to put Pikula down, you got to put a few bodies on him. Numbers outside for the Cougars.
Whippy holding it up high, and then just really Statue of Liberty losing it.
And it looked like it was thrown forward. In fact, it was. Leah Berard's got her arm out. Nope.
Still possession for BYU.
Cal steals another one. In the air from a BYU pass that went errant. Russell Webb will pump it into touch.
And that'll probably do it for the first half.
That is it. I tell you what, Jack Clark has got to be absolutely excited about this result. He said if they were in range within a try going into halftime, he would be satisfied. BYU coughing up a lot of ball, Bill. It has been the story of the game so far.
Take a look at Ara Elkington and to pitch side, and Tanith White with Coach David Smith.
All right, Coach, I know you expected a lot from your team, but are you surprised at all at how close the score is right now?
No, not really. I mean, we knew Cal were going to come out tough. You know, we just got to hold on to the ball down here in the red zone. You know, we're turning possession over, we're knocking the ball on. We just need to settle down, go through the phases, have confidence, back ourselves in what we're doing, and it'll come good. But you know, Cal's not going to lay down for anybody, and they're fighting up front, and we've just got to be able to take care of that in the second half.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
David Smith and his BYU Cougars trying to make it 4 straight Varsity Cup wins. His team with the advantage, 14-12 over Cal at the intermission. We'll take a look inside BYU after this.
Hey, Rick. I've been meaning to get back to you. It's important. Next week. Yep.
Sounds good. We'll see you.
Tim, no time now, but halftime.
Yo, you play?
Where's your finest guy? My life insurance guy. So what are you doing next weekend?
I can't believe you get all this for just $5.
I can't believe you get all this for just $5.
I can't believe you never listened to me.
Yeah, right?
The $5 lunch with a DQ Sundae, because a deal isn't a deal without a real dessert.
If you celebrate a 25th anniversary with silver and a 50th with gold, what do you celebrate 150 years with? Well, in this case, whiskey. Definitely whiskey. The Jack Daniel Distillery. 150 years and counting.
That's right. Stay twice and get $100 in Wyndham Rewards gift cards. That's true. $100. I love my job.
Stay twice and get $100 in Wyndham Rewards gift cards and save up to 25%.
I would like 3 weeks vacation.
2 is standard.
I'm not standard. 3 weeks.
Okay.
People often ask me, they're like, Jim, your dad brand is so strong. How do you do it? Well, I do things myself. I don't pass things off. I don't let anyone or anything do something that I should do myself. You know, I come here and I play tennis. I beat a woman that was 72 years old yesterday. And I'll tell you something, she was good. That's what a dad brand's about.
The road to Rio continues as April Ross and Olympic gold medalist Kerry Walsh-Jennings continue on their world tour before hitting the world stage in Rio. The Beach Volleyball Cincinnati Open, Saturday, May 21st on NBC.
It started on a dirt road, 100 miles an hour on a bootlegger's turn. One man's vision launched an empire, a new sport, pounded on asphalt, hardened by fire, where drivers became legends, rivalries revved up a nation, and fans around the world raced to new temples of speed. This is the story of American drive and innovation. NASCAR, the rise of American speed. Tomorrow at 9/8 Central on CMT, Channel 327.
It's always the biggest race of the year. The one you work so hard for to make sure you ride in every year. Just to ride in it in front of 100,000 people means you've reached the pinnacle of your sport. Nothing comes close to winning on the first Saturday in May.
Introducing BetAmerica.com, your new home for online wagering. Sign up today and get a $300 deposit bonus.
It's time to play the Bet America way.
Stanley Cup playoffs are on NBC tonight following the Kentucky Derby. Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals, Game 5 of their series, and then at 10 Eastern, the Predators and Sharks get together on NBCSN. Stanley Cup playoffs, don't miss a moment. 14-12, BYU with the advantage at the half, and the Cougars and Bears in the locker room, and in BYU's recent history.
A little bit more aggressive at the ruck, okay? Compete there.
Brotherhood, a foreign tradition, and a penchant for beating Cal are all contributing factors to the success of the team.
Okay. We got a resource. This team this year, chemistry's been fantastic. I mean, you know, the boys have worked very well together. There is a chemistry there that we haven't seen for a couple of years now.
What's great about BYU Rugby is that it's not just, you know, a team that you just get together and practice a couple times a week. We're a brotherhood.
It's a brotherhood. Every time we make a closing call, we always say brothers before we depart, because we truly do believe that we're that close that we can support each other.
We're just really mixing 1 through 15. Everyone trusts each other. Everyone knows what everyone's capable of, kind of their quirks, their likeness on the field, if they like to run or kick. So it helps because we don't have to communicate as much, just knowing what someone's, you know, what they tend to do more than others.
Our success is based on our belief that we can trust each other.
The unity and the brotherhood that we have on the team that really makes me want to step up and give it my all every game for these guys.
You know, we do the hockey here at BYU as a sign of respect for the teams that are coming in to play us.
For us, reminding ourselves of what we stand for before each game has been an incredible experience, and one that kind of brings you down to earth and humbles you before you face whatever opponent you're facing.
I still have that desire to show that I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I'm willing to perform.
Culturally, it's a very big part of what we do here. Again, it goes to that brotherhood. It goes to the unification of the team.
You know, you can tell it's a unity thing as well as a bunch of teammates that we're all on one purpose to, you know, whether it's intimidate or just show that we're here, we're not going to back down. We're laying the challenge on the line so they can accept it. You know, we're going to come out and play 80 minutes of hard rugby, and it starts with the hockey.
We may not make huge improvements, but if we continue to improve each game, we know that if we get to the championship, we're at our best. And so that's how we kind of rise to the challenge to play Cal, is to start early and start progressing from there.
And being able to play Cal again here on home field is, in my final year in school, is the greatest experience. I'm just so excited for it.
You know, when I'm here, I want to do the same thing so that those that come later on, you know, they can look back and say, you know, we're part of a 5-time, 6-time national championship team.
It's an opportunity for the boys to go out and, you know, win the championship. I mean, that's what we're all looking forward to.
In the locker room, and Wayne Terafiti, the assistant for David Smith, letting them know 40 minutes to go. They're up by 2 at the intermission, 14-12. When we come back, we'll take a look at the highlights from the first half of the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup Championship Final.
Hey, Rick. I've been meaning to get back to you. It's important. Next week. Yep. Sounds good. We'll see you. Tim, no time now, but halftime.
Yo, you play?
Where'd you find this guy? My life insurance guy. So what are you doing next weekend?
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack knocked over a candlestick onto the shag carpeting, and his pants ignited into flames, causing him to stop, drop, and roll. Luckily, Jack recently had Geico help him with renter's insurance, because all his belongings went up in flames. Jack got full replacement and now has new pants he ordered from Banana Republic. Visit geico.com and see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
If you celebrate a 25th anniversary with silver and a 50th with gold, what do you celebrate 150 years with? Well, in this case, whiskey. Definitely whiskey. The Jack Daniel Distillery. 150 years and counting.
3 wheels, 2 seats, 1 purpose. Slingshot. Pure driving freedom. Starting at $21,499. Test drive the new 2016s during the Slingshot Spring Sales event. Going on now at your Polaris dealer.
At the Joseph A. Bank 4 days only sale, get 60% off suits and sport coats, including all fits from slim to big and tall. Plus, get up to 60% off most everything else in the store. 4 days only at Joseph A. Bank.
I built my business with passion, but I keep it growing by making every dollar count. That's why I have the Spark Cash Card from Capital One. I earn unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy for my studio. And that unlimited 2% cash back from Spark means thousands of dollars each year going back into my business. And that's huge for my bottom line. What's in your wallet?
Make your home happen during Rent-A-Center's home makeover sale. Just make small, affordable payments with no long-term debt. Right now, get your choice of an Ashley sofa and love seat set or queen bed with mattress for just $19.99 a week. Only at Rent-A-Center. Yeah, you can do that.
3 meals a day? Fine. But can we squeeze an unofficial meal in there? We could call it winner. Heck, we can call it Josephine. And we could eat hummus with roasted red peppers. So put out the Sabra and call everyone in the kitchen. Sabra, welcome to the unofficial meal.
BYU holding a 14-12 lead on California. There is Jack Clark in his locker room with his Bears, and he has been there for 33 years as the lead man on the rugby program at Cal. You see 22 national championships in the 15s, 3 in the 7s, and closing in on 700 career victories, and his team would love to add another one for him here today, and that would be a title too. Take a look at the first half highlights in the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup Championship final, and Lucas Dunn got it going for Cal, Brian.
Well, this is an example straight away there. Barrientos and a couple of chances gone begging for Cal, but eventually they get some points on the board, and Dunn starts things out for the Bears. A great play, but after BYU turnovers, but then they right the ship. BYU comes straight back. A try from a break by Vorster finds Weber, who crosses the line, and then Big Joe Pakula. He finds the captain, Otta Elkington, and it looked like BYU had found their stride, but Cal came straight back, and a great break by Nick Boyer, and a line off the outside corner from Taverner.
And the stats from the first half, and the missed tackles, always a big factor.
Yeah, and the big one for me is these knock-ons, 8 knock-ons by BYU, and that's been the story. In the scrums, Cal's managed to win their own ball, but really under pressure.
14-12, BYU with the lead at the half. 40 more minutes to decide who the rugby national champion is. Stay tuned.
Thanks for coming today. I want each of you to grab a 2x8 and cut it. You'll have 2 saws to choose from. You all chose the best tool for the job. Wouldn't it make sense to make the same choice when it comes to your truck? Absolutely. This is the 2016 Chevy Silverado. Nice.
A good-looking pickup. Incredible. I love it.
Find your tag and get a total value of $9,000 on this Silverado Double Cab All-Star. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Hot dog. Seen it, covered it.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
If you celebrate a 25th anniversary with silver and a 50th with gold, what do you celebrate 150 years with? Well, in this case, whiskey. Definitely whiskey. The Jack Daniel Distillery. 150 years and counting.
Hey, America! I'm getting fired up for Golden Corral's new Fired Up Favorites. It's endless ribs, wings, and tenders, and bold new flavors like habanero, sriracha, garlic parmesan, and classic buffalo. Fired Up Favorites only at Golden Corral.
I just saved thousands on my loan at LendingTree.com.
In less than a minute, I found out how much home I can afford.
I like how you shop for loans the same way you shop for flights online.
And it's all free.
Go to LendingTree right now and start saving.
The road to Rio continues as the USA Men's Eagle Sevens take on the world and prepare for rugby's Olympic return. World Rugby 7 Series Paris, May 16th on NBCSN.
It's a whole new ball game with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV.
It is magic.
Experience the ultimate season ticket now at a new lower price.
Unbelievable.
Every punch out, every rundown,
What a play.
and every walk-off. All at your fingertips. And with MLB.tv included, you can watch nearly 100 live games a week on over 400 supported devices. Don't miss a minute of the action. Follow your favorite team on any screen with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV. Order now.
It started on a dirt road, 100 miles an hour on a bootlegger's turn. One man's vision launched an empire, a new sport, pounded on asphalt, hardened by fire, where drivers became legends, rivalries revved up a nation, and fans around the world raced to new temples of speed. This is the story of American drive and innovation. NASCAR, the rise of American speed. Tomorrow at 9/8 Central on CMT, Channel 327.
We are back for the Varsity Cup final, and moments ago, Tanith White with Cal's Scott Walsh.
All right, I'm here with Scott Walsh outside the locker room for the Cal Bears. 40 minutes left to play for this national title to be decided. What's it going to take for Cal to take the win?
You know, it's just to take everything we got, you know, mentally, physically. Our goal coming into this game was to get to the half, and then we make adjustments where needed. And we got to the first half pretty well, I think. You know, I think we're tackling well, we're defending them well. They're giving a lot of offloads, and so, you know, we just got to keep our eyes on those offloads, and that was our goal to get to halftime. And right.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much.
The door and said no go. I think you better take off.
And a lot of these guys having great games. Scott Walsh is one of them. Connor Sweet wearing the number 5 for Cal. To me, has had a monster game as well.
Jackson Kaka inhaling that one to start the second half, and Joe Pakula.
Again, it takes a couple bodies to put Pakula down.
Whiting. A little chip, and it bounces back the other way, but niftily picked up by Lucas Dunn, one of the try scorers in the first half for Cal. BYU holding a 2-point advantage. Just the start of the second half. Nick Boyer, the box. Taking a step up for BYU and drilling one back the other way to Goena is Ryan Blazer.
Russell Webb at the back there. Oh, it's a great kick. Just stays in touch, or out of touch, I should say. And
Lahai.
Then Whippy.
Back over to Whiting. Calvin corrals it and then able to step around a couple defenders. And Calvin Whiting has some open space. He had Elkington to his inside, but didn't see Ara.
A tackle missed way upfield there by Michael Bush. And BYU, just like that, making Cal pay for it.
Pakula sending yet another man. This time Robles looked like he got the worst of that hit.
And a high tackle advantage being played by Leah Berard. And there's Scott Walsh getting up kind of slow for the Bears.
Walsh to his feet and shaking his head.
And BYU calls for the kicking tee, and here it comes onto the field. Calvin Whiting will take a shot.
It's a pretty good breeze. He's going to go from probably right around 40 meters or close to it from the angle there.
Yeah, it's going to blow from his left to right. And we saw earlier one of Russell Webb's touch kicks looked like it was going to stay in the field and then blows out at the last minute. We'll see if Calvin Whiting can judge this wind.
You can see those trees giving a little indication of the wind, and better yet, let's go to a flag or a couple of them. Whiting.
Really like the way he strikes the ball.
Sounded a little flat on the snap, but going to be off the mark, and a missed opportunity for BYU to start the second half.
And a 22-meter drop kick here. Russell Webb to take the honors. Try to put it deep downfield.
Off the turf it goes. A whirly bird he sends down. Blazer decides to grab it, scoop it, come back, and it pops up in the air for the taking, and the 50-50 ball going to be whistled up by referee Leah Berard.
And that's one of those moments the ball gets coughed up into the air by the hit on Blazer. And sometimes the right timing on that kind of knock on, and Cal's away into open field. Instead it finds the ground in the first scrum of the second half. We'll see if Cal's made any fixes, because they looked like BYU was kind of putting the sword to him in this set piece in the first half.
Boyer rolls it in. Robles having trouble getting it out of there because Elkington's pressuring him. Elkington's on top of the ball. And BYU has it. Jackson Kaka put it back down, and now they're going to say it's going over to BYU.
A lot of hands on the ball bouncing around a lot.
I think there was an exchange back and forth about 3 possessions there. You see it on the turf, and you see Elkington pretty much just crushing Robles.
Yeah, and really might have had his hands on Robles before Robles touched the ball, which is a bit of an infraction, but gets away with it really quick and hard to detect.
Steady scrum by BYU and a torpedo pass by Maki. And then on the motor is Weber. Outside it goes. Keeping it alive is BYU into the corner, and can they get it over? Yes!
Zach Weber, an All-American in 2012 and 13, and he just scampers away there. It might have been a forward pass to Josh Anderson, who does a great job feeding it back to Blazer, and Blazer just puts the head down and goes to work. Finds the 5-pointer there for BYU, and it's cautionary tale time for Cal. You got to keep your bodies in front of these BYU attackers, because they are lethal.
A look at Ryan Blazer from Citrus Heights, California, near Sacramento, and he adds 5 on the board for his BYU Cougars.
Well, you know, you go back to where BYU took this ball, and it was from the Cal scrum. So much pressure. Robles trying to do the 8-man pickup to dish to Boyer out the back, but he's going backwards at the time, and that is where the whole mess started. BYU gets the ball back, marches down the field, a couple breaks. Great strike by Calvin Whiting, and now it is a 9-point contest.
Ryan Blazer with the try. Calvin Whiting with the conversion. And not far away, Coach David Smith.
Nice. It's about as animated as you're going to see Coach Smith.
Ryan Blazer, by the way, him and his wife expecting a child like almost any moment now. And pretty good little gift before the arrival of another gift. And once again, Blazer in a little tougher going there.
You know,
able to take it out as Maki.
BYU starting to slip a few tackles here early in the second half. A really bad sign for Cal. They really got to stiffen up the defense and make sure of their tackles, and that's one way Michael Bush comes to help out.
Elkington, battered, beaten, but on the move. The captain off his foot. Tavner's going to go back, can't get it. Picked up, however, by BYU.
But Tavner's got to go to the ground for that ball. A great play. It ends up working out for Otta Elkington. But again, he squirts through that line of Cal defenders. And just as I was about to say, Cal needs to be worried about.
Ricky! Don't lose that number! Inside the 5, the pop to Jensen. That goes awry, but put down. Very close, but it appeared to be lost forward.
That's right. Play the knock-on.
And the knock-on going to bring it back.
They get away with, Cal gets away with one there because all Jackson Kaka wants a replay. Not going to happen. Tuialangingi. That ball goes forward off BYU player.
Blood.
You know, of all the things that went well for Cal in the first half, their tackling was really, really executed well.
You need to go take care of it.
So far, they're having some trouble putting these BYU attackers on the ground. BYU dangerous here going forward. It would have been a try for Jackson Kaka there, but the play before the ball had gone to the ground looked like from the pass of Ricky Tuialanini.
Yeah, Matt Jensen coming through and couldn't quite find the handle on it, and then as it went away, Jackson Kaka tried to pop on it, but coming over to the sideline with a cut near the eye area for Cal.
Nick Mirisham, the open side flanker. So Drew Gaffney comes on to replace
Crouch.
Mirisham.
Bind. Set.
Drew Gaffney, whose brother Tyler Gaffney, a running back for the New England Patriots.
And the kick coming to touch.
And the get out of jail card played by Russell Webb, and an important series there for Cal, because another try for BYU, and it's really become more of an uphill climb.
Cal started this one, a 5-0 lead on Lucas Dunn's try, and then Weber and Elkington put BYU out on top, 14-5. And right before the half, Tavener with a try to make it 14-12. And so far in the second half, Blazer with the score in a corner for BYU and the advantage of 21-12 as we are nearly 49 minutes in to this 80-minute contest.
Yeah, BYU, you can tell, trying to push the pace a little bit. And Calvin Whiting going to tee it up once again, try to put another 3 points on the board. Penalty against Cal for coming in the ruck from the side.
What's the thinking, Brian, going for the tee here in this situation? You're up by 9, going to put you up, what, by 12? And
well, I think just putting more points on the board, and what we saw from the first half is that Cal can stay in this game, and they're capable of scoring tries. So if you're BYU, it's not all about that running rugby that you're used to playing. It's about taking your chances when you have them. And especially the way Calvin Whiting's striking this ball, I like him with the tee.
This from more than 43 meters, and Whiting draws the line. Got enough distance, certainly. And oh, by the way, it's accurate.
Well, this entire half has been played so far in the 50 meters that Cal is defending. BYU's doing a great job of playing the territory in this game, in the second half, I should say. A game of momentum. You know that in the halftime, the locker room shot of BYU, they looked dejected. They looked so disappointed, and rightfully so, with all the mistakes they'd made, but they went in winning, and now it seems like they've turned the switch on.
What a grab by Jensen on the kick, and that gives a chance for Joe Pikula to try to test 4 bears on him. Like a county fair, you get the bear wrestling, and took a few of them to bring Joe down. The ball loose, and to touch it goes. Let's see who's awarded the ball.
A great turnover ball, and the awareness there by Drew Gaffney comes over the top for the counter ruck.
Off a white foot. Off a white foot.
You hear Leah Berard, the referee, saying off a white foot, so Forster gonna see if he can throw a dart here on this line out. Up high, and it overthrows and goes to Robles, and Robles ripped out by Elkington. Elkington comes up with it on a bounce and then gives it a kick back the other way. Goena comes by, picks it up, and thought for a moment of sending it back on a kick. Instead, decides to run for some real estate on his own.
Get out!
Back it comes. Conrad presents. Cal, if they can get it there. Webb having some problems with it.
Great job cleaning up that ball. Russell Webb using the foot instead of the hand, avoiding the knock-on.
Dunn steps around. Pretty good off that left, and Maki and company able to take him down.
Yeah, Jackson Kaka's got to let go of Lucas Dunn, and quickly goes Boyer.
Bush, and Bush gonna circle around for a big run for the Bears.
And a try for Michael Bush, and what a great turn of events for Cal. They had to have it. The momentum was going against them for the first 15 minutes, 12 minutes, I should say, of this second half. They had to have one to stay within range of this dangerous BYU team. And I tell you what, Nick Boyer, when he gets that penalty, he's not even thinking about 3 points. The quick tap, and he just goes, finds Michael Bush, and Bush does the rest.
You underline the quick tap on that one, and then Bush sort of just skiing in his wake, waiting right there, got it, and converted. And Jack Clark taking a look from his sideline, and the chance for Boyer to add 2 more and pull within 5.
Looks like Mirisham.
Looked like he pulled it, but no, it gets inside the upper left right.
Mirisham is looks like standing up. Might see him come back, the number 7 for Cal, although Drew Gaffney's had a couple of good minutes since he got on scene for this Bear team. This restart game, BYU has really been winning these restarts. See if Cal can come up with one. Well, they'll come up with this one because Whiting goes deep, really trying to pin this Cal team back.
Whiting just let the jet stream take care of it, and Webb hustles one to touch. And so right around the broadcast booth here, they're going to toss it back in.
Might be a good option, because Forster's had trouble in the lineout so far, and it's because they've got Condrat in the front and then Connor Sweet in the back, and Condrat steals one.
Another 6'5", 6'6" guy just going up and getting his mitts on it. And that one spits out of Cal's possession for a moment, but they repossess. Goena.
I like what I've seen from Goena. Strong runner. Boyer trying to find some space, instead gets the contact and knocks the ball forward.
I think he was trying to drop it to his foot to kick it, as Elkington gives right side to Lane, and away goes Tua. Tua, have you got the wheels? 1, 2, 3.
He hasn't had a whole lot of touches. The first time he touched the ball in the first half, we talked about how dangerous he was. But once again, the turnover, and it comes from Boyer, and quickly the transition by BYU, and watch him go to work. Luke Maki with the ball on the ground, and out it goes. Forster, the number 2, puts it in the hands of the captain. Johnny Lane with the ball, and he finds one of the quickest men on the turf, Tua La'ai, and he dots down with some authority.
When you get sideways on the airfoil there, as Tua did,
You know, Boyer's been carrying the ball a lot for this Cal team, and he's been doing a lot of damage. We saw him spring Tavener for the try. We just saw him with the quick tap and put Bush over the line for the try, but he's got to protect that ball. If you're going to be a running scrum half, you got to make sure you keep the pill. He gives one up there, and it costs the Cal Bears.
Whiting going to push it a little bit left, and so it will stay at 29-19, the 10-point advantage for BYU.
And that ball's going to roll dead, and that's a mistake. That's going to come all the way back to a scrum at the halfway line for BYU.
Send him on.
If you're gonna play that deep restart game, you got to make sure you're hitting the corners. That was just kind of miskicked there. I don't think the ball got enough air under it from the foot of Webb.
So right at halfway, and
big
Luke Mockey gonna roll it in. This is a big one. Goes to turf pretty quick.
Yeah, and Berard will reset this one, and normally what she'll do is she'll come around to the side where the scrum collapsed, and then she'll take another look, see if anybody's been making some infraction, whether that be in the bind or whether that be in the drive.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
That one seems a little more stable. It is. Mockey rolls it in. Pakula pops it back to him. On the cross comes Zach Weber. Maul was called.
Yeah, and Cal wins the ball. Strips it away from Weber.
And kick by Boyer. Blazer, one of the try scorers for BYU, trying to get this one, and it just slows down. He thought it was probably going to touch, and Cal comes up with it.
Well, it looked like they were trying to get Blazer into touch, and instead it's stripped away by Cal, and then BYU pushes Cal into touch, and so now it's going to be a BYU line out instead of a Cal line out. Look at Blazer do a nice job of staying in bounds.
Unkind bounces for him as he was going over there, because the first two bounces he thought it's definitely out. Instead, it kind of pulled up on its own. Pakula loses one, and away goes Cal.
Numbers outside. Russell Webb.
Can they do it? Webb, the left-handed throw, and it's off the mark. Barrientos goes for it, wearing the 13 for Cal. Spins back inside, tries to present, and does. Bersham. Walsh. Taken down hard by Mendenhall.
Oh, Russell Webb had a chance. It looked like a try for Cal, but he can't find the hands. He had Tavener and he had Barrientos on the corner, but he can't get him the ball. Instead, an errant pass, and the momentum stopped for Cal.
Another look as Webb with that left hand now going to fling it out.
Yeah, and the dummy, and he dummies, and it allows the BYU defense to slide over, and then the errant pass, and it's a squandered opportunity.
Excuse me, who are you? Yeah, thank you.
And so far, Bill, story of the day is turnover ball, and BYU has knocked it on 12 times, and they still have the 10-point lead. Cal with 5 knock-ons on the day. You wonder why the point spread is 10. BYU giving up a lot of ball.
I'd be interested in those 10 too. How many of them are really in a red zone situation for BYU, where they are knocking on the door and then giving it back?
Looks like the prop, Ricky Tuialanini, getting a little bit of attention.
Left leg. Meanwhile, waiting for...
Could be one of those cold spray moments, Bill, my favorite.
The magic of cold spray. And Ricky rejoins his mates.
You know, one of the things you notice, too, a really quiet, about 40-minute stretch from Josh Whippy. We saw him go down early in the contest. He's still on the field, but really hasn't done a whole lot of damage.
No, off. You're off release length.
An early release from the bind. The back row breaks off early, according to.
Got to stay together, got to stay cohesive, and Leah Berard pings them for that, and then the kick. Oh, goes down on the Cal side, and coming back is Tabner, and almost taken the other way by Whippy.
Yeah, I tell you what, that might have increased the speed of Whippy. He read that perfectly, just standing there for the cherry picker and can't find the handle, instead knocks it on. An opportunity, because if Whippy would have grabbed that ball, he would have been under the sticks.
And we got some changes coming in for Cal. There's 3 of them.
Sullivan comes on for George Frame. Looks like Honens will go to the corner. Will take the left wing from Lucas Dunn. And Aya Akuzi.
Crouch.
Out. Goes to center.
Bind. Set.
Webb to Saliver, and popped up in the air before it reaches Tabner. No. A couple of big hitters going in there as Pakula and Conrad. And the ball awarded as they were holding on too long to BYU.
Yeah, you can see the ball there. Cal holding on to it.
And to the stands we go, and Tanith White.
All right, I'm here with former Johnny Rugby, now maybe Johnny Football, Johnny Linehan. You used to be on this BYU Rugby team, now you're a punter for the football team. What's it like watching your players out there?
It's difficult. I wish I was out there playing. So at halftime, I went and spoke with Calvin, who's playing 10, and tried to give him some pointers, but he's doing a fantastic job. But it is difficult because this is my love. This is my favorite sport, but they're doing a great job.
What kind of pointers were you giving him?
I just told him what I could see, because on the field, in the stands, everyone's like, can't you see that? And when you're on the field, you actually can't. But it's good to get a bird's eye view. So I told him to attack the line more, spin the ball wide when they're short for numbers. And it started to work in the second half. I don't know if he remembered what I said or not, but I'd like to think so. But no, he's doing a great job.
I think you can take a little bit of credit, Johnny. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Linehan told me he rattled off a 77-yarder for BYU, the football team this year. If you're kicking 77, they're going to keep you around.
And Okusi for Cal. Webb with the handle. Goena leaves it outside for Honens.
Yeah, Honens can't keep his foot off the touchline.
Johnny Linehan, and earlier before the contest, sort of stretching out a hamstring or two.
Yeah, saying, look, boys, I still got it if you need me. Float me a jersey.
Got a pair of boots in the trunk.
Last time the BYU went to their front jumper, it was a quick jump, and they do it again because they've been getting so much trouble from these tall locks from Cal. A smart adjustment by Vorster.
Under 20 minutes to go, and a 10-point advantage for BYU, and the ball awarded to Cal.
Well, this, a good opportunity. Webb has to eat up some green with this, and he does. So inside the BYU 22-meter line, and wouldn't a score change the momentum dramatically? Keep Cal in this game. Right now, 10-point lead for BYU.
Referee Berard asking for a little spacing there on the line out. Tightens up anyways, and Boyer spins to Webb. Robles, the big, heavy hit inside the 22. Ball comes free. Trying to kick it is Webb, and he gets brought down. We'll see. They're playing advantage, so they'll come back.
Yeah, offsides on BYU. Berard had called for the advantage long before. You wonder here, do they stick it into the corner? Because their line out has been so successful. It's really been the one piece of set play today that they have outshined BYU.
And they're bringing out the tee.
But instead they'll go for 3 points. You know, it's been so difficult for them to get within range of that goal line for BYU, and this has to go over, and it'll put them within a converted try from BYU, but this might be one of those opportunities. Still some time left, so probably the conservative choice and a good one if Boyer can make pay dirt.
And so Nick lines it up just about 20 meters out. The left angle, and I think everybody here is wishing him well.
Oh, he sprays it to the right. We saw this against Central Washington in the semifinal. Cal could not buy a penalty kick, and that's been one of the problems, you know, and in the years past, we've seen the automatic leg of Jake Anderson, but he has moved on. Boyer, a chance gone to the wayside.
So Whiting sends it back to him, and Webb has it now. Okusi comes alongside him, and they both go forward. Resetting on the defensive side, BYU. Saliver punches the right side.
Sometimes when the ball's not coming out, it kind of gets jammed in there, and there's lots of hands holding on, but Leah Berard can't tell whose hands are in there and whether they're on their feet or not, whether the ball's won in a counter ruck. And so sometimes the safe play is, all right, we'll give it back to the team that brought it in because can't see a clear infraction, and the scrum is going to go to Cal, and they might have gotten away with one there. Every possession crucial as we head towards 15 minutes left in this game.
So Cal with yet another chance, still down 10.
Fine. Set. Steady. Steady.
Boyer puts it in, and BYU just takes over the fort. Lucky to get it out of there was Cal. Spun to Tabner, has Goena with him. Leai has a hold of the ball, and that comes loose.
But a knock on, and La'ai does a great job of tying that ball up, stripping it away from Taverner, and I think maybe Taverner should have given it a little bit early. Sometimes when you run that drift line and you allow those defenders to come with you, instead maybe you step off the outside foot, you straighten your line, and you put away some of your support runners. Great job by La'ai, who stepped up and had some crucial moments in this game so far.
And the most recent try.
Crouch.
It gave BYU a 29-19 lead.
Set.
Maki has it in. Pakula brings it out. Joe taken down by Mirisham.
Step.
Nick has been roughed up a bit. He was out for a little while, but back in there, and Mendenhall meets Okusi.
Use it.
The box kick from Maki, getting under it. Honens.
Honens has time.
Eyes right on it. Now the step by Saliver.
High tackle being played by Leah Berard. She's playing the advantage. Kondrak goes wide, tries to find some space.
Okusi, dangerous pass. Couldn't quite get it to Anthony Saliver, and they'll bring it back here.
Yeah, right in front of us. High tackle against BYU, and Berard playing that long advantage, and now Webb will pump it downfield.
Under a dozen minutes to go now, as Webb finds touch.
That's a great kick by Russell Webb. Gets all the way down inside that 22-meter line once again. Whether they get to go to their line out, which, like I said, Bill Ben has been their most successful part of the game today.
Keep going back left.
They look at Conrad. They get it to him. Boyer. Saliver. And Goena. Goena. Go, 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 Goena. Down close.
Hold.
Great break by Jake Goena. And now they'll try to bulldoze it over.
Penalty advantage.
Penalty advantage being played. Cal wants to get it done without it.
Still advantage being played.
Webb. And stepping through Saliber. Big man, big opening, and a big 5 points.
This is huge for Cal. And it starts from the high tackle penalty, and Russell Webb delivers a great touch-finding kick, and then the line out. It's been their bread and butter. Jake Gowena with a great break downfield, almost gets to the line, but then he gets stopped. Penalty advantage being played. And then they just run out of defenders, does BYU. Saliber finds the in goal, and he dots down Russell Webb, now the kicker. Boyer was kicking. They bring in Webb and say, maybe it's your day instead. And now a 3-point game. And I tell you what, that crowd, just like the first 10 minutes of this game, has suddenly gone quiet.
10 minutes to go for the national championship between BYU and California. A game that Cal started the opening score and a 5-0 lead, but then Weber and Elkington coming back with tries and a 14-5 advantage. And Tavener crossed and made it 14-12 at half. Sam Merrill checking in for BYU. As R.A. Elkington, what a day he has had, and take a look at
that is the face of a warrior right there, and he led his team. He scored a try. He was all around the field. Hats off to Otto Elkington, who takes a bow, and that eye does not look good.
Time is off. If there are any subs, send them on, please.
Sam Merrill wearing the 20 and the scrum cap for BYU. First year with the program.
Here comes Gaffney in for Nick Mirisham. Check that, Nick Saliber. Saliber takes a break. We saw Gaffney in earlier as a sub for the injured Nick Mirisham, and now we'll finish out this game. Webb pumps it deep.
And so BYU is R.A. Elkington. He can unwrap that mattress, and
yeah, you talk about crucial moments of this game, right in front of the posts, and Nick Boyer sprays it to the right. And a lot of things can happen in between those penalties.
It's a live action, and Scott Walsh with it. Walsh goes on a jaunt. The pass, some indecision, and Sullivan.
Good job by Sullivan. He's great with the ball in hand. I tell you what, he's one of those running props, not necessarily of the ilk of Tui Alanini.
Forster with a great job knocking it out of the hands, but coming across and trying to be on top of it.
Yeah, and
off the feet.
According to Leah, an infraction there, and so Webb gets to boot it down once again. He's been great with the boot in this second half. And we said from the beginning, the clinical boot of Russell Webb, if they stay in the game, it will be because of the foot of number 10, and that has been true.
And he's doing the job in a situation where the wind has been swirling, moving different directions, and he's still able to stay the course.
I tell you what, this is truly going to be a game if Cal can cross the line here.
Walsh, a maul situation for Cal. And
last foot, come back around, Black, come back around.
It starts to disintegrate a little bit, but Cal reloads and able to move along. Sullivan undressing him as he takes the ball through, but it's Boyer, and Nick Boyer puts Cal ahead.
Well, a lot of celebrations in the boys in white right now. A lot of time left, a lot of danger from the BYU Cougars, but you gotta give it to the boys from Berkeley, and they have continued to stay on the gas. Nick Boyer.
What a roller coaster he has ridden today.
Well, you know, and you know, think about what he's done. He set up the try on the corner with Tavener. he set up the try with Bush. He just scored one on his own. And Webb,
no doubt,
has found his stride. And suddenly, Bill Seward, the roles have been reversed. I haven't seen a crowd at Southfield this quiet and still since I've been here. They have never lost on Southfield.
They've only lost one time in 4 years, and that was back in 2014 against St. Mary's in Moraga. And the kick to touch, and BYU will have the line out. Everyone, their own bench.
Yeah, everyone on the BYU bench clamoring.
Wow,
and a great steal.
I
tell you what, Conrad has been huge in the line out today and pulls another one down with a Boyer box kick over the top.
Leai gets it, not on the first bounce, but on the second bounce. To Blazer. A left-footed kick by him.
Stop, set.
Coming over and making the grab. And going back the other way is Webb.
Oh, beautiful. Chip
Leai needs to pick that one up. He does, and taken right with him to touch goes Cal.
Russell Webb, what a huge play by the senior. You talk about moments. Watch this chip and chase. Tu'ala'i, one of the most dangerous men on the field, feels the ball, but Russell Webb is there, chases his own kick and puts La'i out into touch. It'll be a line out for Cal. 4-point lead, an amazing game so far.
Just over 5 minutes to go. And the 4-time defending national champions, BYU, find themselves down by 4. And Cal knocking on the door.
Use it now.
Sullivan takes it out of there. Slams the right side. And poor entry.
Back.
So a penalty awarded to Cal.
Bill, can you imagine in the beginning of this game, I just can't imagine the narrative going something like, at the end of the game, BYU is going to have to figure out a way to win it. We thought that this game was going to be so lopsided, but, you know, that's why you play the game. And really, BYU, they have all the talent that we talked about, but I think today has been a display of the talent on this Cal Bear side as well. We talked about the mistakes from BYU, but Cal really making them pay for them.
Bush rifles it in, and away goes the maul. And Cal, ever closer. Boyer, and they got a try. It was a delayed movement there, but Leah Berard right on the spot. And now, with under 4 minutes to go, it is Cal with the advantage on BYU, 38-29, and still pending the conversion.
And that is just collective will right there. Players refusing to go backwards, and the try scored. Russell Webb will take his time.
Yeah, he's in no hurry.
Teeing this one up, and
I'm not sure who the try was awarded to on the Cal side. There was a massive humanity. Yeah, we're going to go team try. And Webb will try to add 2 more. And Webb's got the boot on today. Wow. 40-29, Cal with the lead.
And Webb points to the small collection of blue and yellow wearing supporters high in the stands across the field.
A little more rapid on the restart is BYU. They want to get a shot at that oval.
2 scores down.
Webb charged down. Back it goes the other way. Jackson Kaka, can he land on it? No, Webb goes to it and takes it over the dead ball line.
Dangerous moment there for Cal. BYU, though, they're not going away. And if any team in this country can score twice in 2 minutes, it is the Cougars.
22 here, guys. Brought up. 22. Brought up by what?
There is a reason they've won 4 straight national crowns, and on the other side, Cal, there's a reason they have 25 overall under the guidance of Jack Clark.
You've got blood.
In just a couple of minutes.
No, it's not. Please go to the sideline.
So Jackson Kaka bleeding a little bit. Leah Berard says, look, it's running, it's flowing. You got to get it contained. A little bit of water does the trick. Kaka back in the game. And
yeah, I think water usually stops blood.
Yeah, of course it does. At least hides it for a little bit. And
Webb's got to drop kick it out of there and just got it over some outstretched arms. Maki goes back. A minute and a half to go, and Maki sends it toward his bench.
Well, and he was in front of the 22-meter line, which means the line out for Cal is going to happen at the spot of the Luke Maki kick, just over the line, and that is a heartbreak for BYU. Looking for any angle that they can play to get down inside Cal territory. But I tell you what, 1 minute left on this clock. This is the shock of this Varsity Cup history for me.
And of the set pieces, this is the one that Cal has been dominant on the day, the line out, and able to once again maintain possession.
Taking down the ball, use it now.
And told to use it does Cal, and so they do it. Just across the 22. And
Cal has been perfect today in the line out. Berard penalizing BYU for pulling down a man in the line out, and so or pulling the ball down, I should say. Cal already starting to celebrate. 10 seconds left on the clock. Webb puts it into the corner. It is absolutely silent at Southfield, and for good reason. 80 minutes.
80 minutes has been reached. That's full time. We'll still have a play. I'm not sure you can score twice on one play, but Anderson running hard still for BYU.
On your feet, White. Hold. Thank you.
Forster. Whippy. Leai's on a little run. Leai's, he got somebody in his wake. Blazer comes along. That kicked a touch, and that may do it.
And that
it is.
Cal unseats the #1 team.
The California Golden Bears, under coach Jack Clark, a 26th national championship, and puts an end to a 4-year run
and they just
of national titles by BYU. And Tanith White is with Coach Clark.
All right, I'm with the head coach of the new national champions, the Cal Bears. Coach, how proud are you of your team in this moment?
Yeah, really proud. A lot of effort.
From the very beginning of this match, you had been telling your team to stay calm, to be patient. Was that the key to this match?
Just try to get them to the last quarter of the game. They're a really good team. And I don't know if we got anybody who can even play for them, right? But if we can get them to the last 20 minutes of this game, we thought something like this could happen, and hey, it did.
All right,
congratulations to all the other teams in the tournament. I'm really proud of all the teams. Thanks.
Did you ever think coming into this match that you would come out on top? I mean, you seemed pretty confident in the beginning, but there was some restraint now as you celebrate. How destined did you think this win would be?
Yeah, it's one of the all-time legendary wins in Cal Rugby.
Coach, congratulations.
Appreciate it, yeah, cheers.
Jack Clark, and if he puts a stamp on it like that, it says something and a half.
Well, you look at how emotional he was. He was choking up when Tanith asked him that question, and because he never thought that these young guys, I mean, the back three, they're 5'7". He calls them the Smurfs, 5'7", 5'8", and Gowena Dunn and Taverner were incredible on the corners. And then you look at the lock play. I tell you what Connor Sweet did and James Conrad did in the second row today was phenomenal. And then huge moments from both Nick Boyer and Russell Webb. It was a total team effort, and it had to be. We talked about it in the beginning. They had to play the game of their lives. They did. And of all the great Cal teams, there's been a lot of talent, but I think Cal, the coach said it best, that this is one of the best wins in their history.
And the man of the match is with our Tanith White.
All right, I'm here with Russell Webb, man of the match. That has to sound pretty good, and so does national champion. What's going through your head right now?
National champion sounds better. This is a team performance. I think we had 15 men in the matches. You've got to give credit to our coaches. They were immense. Our boys were phenomenal. Our boys were phenomenal, and I'm lost for words. We went with a game plan, and 1 to 15, 1 to 23, all the boys who were on the subs, they stuck to it, and I'm happy to take the national championship back to Berkeley. It's for you guys back home.
How much does it mean to you to be able to do this here on South Field? It was a difficult challenge that you faced, but with your team, you were able to do it. What did it take for you to shift the momentum of this match?
Yeah, we had a heartbreak in 2013. Looking at those banners doesn't sit right in my stomach, so we knew it was going to be tough coming to South Field. Not many teams win here. I don't think anyone has but us, and that sounds bloody beautiful.
All right, Russell, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Go Bears.
Cal's Russell Webb, the man of the match, is brought to you by the Utah National Guard. Russell Webb, what a day for him. 3 times he had been to the Varsity Cup final before. 3 times he came away without a victory, but today a different story, and he played a huge part of it. We are going to step aside once again. 40-29 is the final. California victorious over BYU. Back with more and some hardware presentation and then some after this.
If you celebrate a 25th anniversary with silver and a 50th with gold, what do you celebrate 150 years with? Well, in this case, whiskey. Definitely whiskey. The Jack Daniel Distillery. 150 years and counting.
Make your home happen during Rent-A-Center's home makeover sale. Just make small, affordable payments with no long-term debt. Right now, get your choice of an Ashley sofa and love seat set or queen bed with mattress for just $19.99 a week. Only at Rent-A-Center. Yeah, you can do that.
Oh my God, Mary, did you see the all-new Chrysler Pacifica? I heard it has stow-and-go seating. Whoever drives it must be really handsome and a hunk, and probably a famous stand-up comedian. I'm jealous. Anyway, let's get some fro-yo.
Really?
Oh, that's so interesting. Why don't we also go and get some salads, Cobb salads? That's what a dad brand's about.
You need a website. Why not do it yourself? With Wix, you can create your own professional website. Choose from hundreds of templates. Drag and drop to create your site exactly the way you want. Change your text. Choose one of our backgrounds or upload your own. Add popular web apps and services like Google Maps, contact forms, and so much more. Just like that, you've got your own stunning website that is fully optimized for every device. Create your stunning website today. It's easy and free.
The road to Rio continues as Olympic gold medalists compete at the Prefontaine Classic.
Blazing out, Allison Feely.
Before hitting the world stage in Rio. Saturday, May 28th on NBC and NBCSN.
It started on a dirt road, 100 miles an hour on a bootlegger's turn. One man's vision launched an empire, a new sport, pounded on asphalt, hardened by fire, where drivers became legends, rivalries revved up a nation, and fans around the world raced to new temples of speed. This is the story of American drive and innovation. NASCAR, the rise of American speed. Tomorrow at 9/8 Central on CMT, Channel 327.
Ever since I was a little girl, my dream was to become a jockey. There were always obstacles, and I was constantly the new one in the jocks room. I was always having to prove myself. The great news is, trainers took notice, and they started giving me chances. I started winning, and it just snowballed. It just felt so good.
Introducing BetAmerica.com, your new home for legal online wagering.
It's time to play the Bet America way.
The medal presentation for the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup Championship Final, and the Cal Bears have a little weight around their neck and a big weight off their shoulders as they were able to, well, come back and pin a victory on the turf here at Southfield in Provo, Utah, and the presentation being made of the Varsity Cup.
You know, and the thing about Cal is, you know, usually they're characterized as kind of a lockstep team, and they're, you know, not very creative. Today, you saw some really expansive rugby. When they had their chances, they took them. They weren't afraid to make mistakes. They made several mistakes in bad times. It gave BYU some points, but they played open running rugby, and they all played committed. It was an amazing effort from all of the Cal team. And BYU, they showed what a class team they were, how quickly they could score. But I think at the end of the day, just made too many mistakes and put way too many balls on the ground, and kind of served it up a little bit for Cal to take advantage of.
And Bones has got a cup of his own there. The manager for the Cal Bears,
Jerry Fagoni, and I tell you what, he's an institution not only at Cal, been around the USA setup for a long time, and happy about this victory. He's one of those guys that makes it all happen.
And to Tanith White.
All right, I'm here with Michael Bush, someone who made a big difference in this match. Michael, how much does this win mean to you, and what do you think of your team's efforts today in this game?
It's unbelievable for us. I mean, a lot of these guys are a bunch of fifth-year seniors, fourth-year seniors, and we remember those banners they got over here on us, and it really feels good to have one of our own. So just really proud of the guys. A lot of effort put in by everyone, and we had a don't quit mentality, and that's what we preached all year, and it came to fruition today.
All right, we'll let you celebrate, Michael. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, you know, it's only a Cal team that's going to get better. They're a young team. They'll improve. But today was the standard. They took an overmatched side, and on paper, they looked like they didn't have a whole lot of a chance. But, man, did they prove everybody wrong, all the doubters. And, you know, credit BYU, but today Cal was the team to beat.
And that coaching staff, Jack Clark, Tom Billups, Mike McDonald, what a job they did getting their squad ready. The champs, the Cal Bears. For Brian Hightower, Tanith White, and the entire crew, I'm Bill Seward. Thank you for joining us for the Penn Mutual Varsity Cup Championship. What a good one for the Cal Bears. Nick Boyer and his boys getting it done. The Hugs are big time on Southfield in Provo, Utah, where the three-time defending champs, well, they took their first loss. It's the Cal Bears.